Roadhouse, the new remake of the 1989 Patrick Swayze classic, is a new film from director Doug Liman starring a beefed-up Jake Gyllenhaal in the lead role, alongside a pretty stacked ensemble cast. This movie will be coming soon to Amazon. It won't be playing theatrically.
It's on there right now.
More
So weird,
on
yeah.
that later. We are live from the South by Southwest Film Festival, where the movie opened the festival.
It did indeed.
The opening night movie, pretty electric crowd on hand for this brutal brawler. Did it live up to the hype? Was it a fun time at the movies? Should people be looking forward to Roadhouse? Amanda, you want to start us off?
I didn't know it was a Roadhouse remake. I waited in line for
You should've
3
listened to my intro.
hours for what I thought was going to be some fun, gritty, Nightcrawler meets Southpaw-esque Jake Gyllenhaal movie, only to find that it's a remake of the Patrick Swayze movie.
When did you find out it was a remake?
When I was sitting there and they said I like the original Roadhouse movie.
Before or after the movie?
Right before.
Right before? Okay.
Right
So you
before.
didn't get to sit with the movie
Well,
and judge it without realizing, like...
Yeah, no, they
wait a
introduced
minute.
it. They introduced it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
As a
then
Roadhouse
the
remake?
whole time that they're having the conversations of what is a Roadhouse, the Roadhouse, you were just like, I have no idea what this means.
Well, I'd seen Roadhouse, I just didn't know.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts it if you
No.
It
haven't
doesn't
seen
hurt
the
it.
first
It does
one,
not
so.
hurt it at all.
And the character is sort of like a different take on the Swayze
Absolutely.
character. It's less of like the philosophical kind of. So it I don't know. I think Jake sort of imbues a lot of what is the goofiness I appreciate in his
Yes.
performances into this character.
Agreed.
You have a guy with a troubled past coming to town to clean up the bad element. It feels very old-fashioned in
Yeah.
that way, like almost a Walking Tall-esque kind of
the lone
structure.
hero, the lone
The Western.
the Western, like the true Western, where it's like the guy comes to town, and he's not
Yeah.
trying to be the hero, but it's like, well,
Someone's got to be.
someone's got to do this, like that kind of attitude.
Yeah, and it has some kind of like, fun little cutting of the tension, these sort of glib jokes. I think Jake Gyllenhaal's really good in the way that he sort of downplays the height of the situation.
Yes.
He kind of is very, very lackadaisical in how he dispatches the rough element. But
Yeah.
I think it leads to a lot of fun moments. The story definitely has a bit of a lull in the middle, but I think mostly it's a mostly satisfying action. Comedy.
Yeah. This will play really well in streaming, actually. Like, for all you want to say, like, I actually don't know how big of a success this would be in theaters, even if it would be a really fun theater experience for people.
be okay.
It would be okay. I think it would do okay, but I do think that this is going to be something that people, like, really enjoy as a family.
Yeah.
Like, family units and stuff.
For the dads
yeah.
who have finished Reacher.
For the dads, like this is this is
Right
something I can be
after.
like, Dad,
Yeah.
watch this, and then when it's done, I'll be like, Dad, there's an even better movie on it too. It's called Fall Guy. Wait until you watch. Wait until you watch this one. Yeah.
But
So
it's going to be perfect for streaming. I know there was the
Yeah.
whole debacle. Your boy really wanted it
Yeah,
in theaters.
he
I know
did.
you
Doug
like
Liman, the director who sort of boycotted the premiere. He didn't go on stage.
No, he boycotted.
He boycotted
until the
it.
premiere date.
And he boycotted
And then
it.
he got a ticket.
Yeah, but then he watches, and then everybody gets to say he's in the audience, and then people are going to be
For
like,
sure.
"Why is the director here but not on stage?"
Exactly.
And then you're
I
gonna
think
look it up.
He needed to be there because you can't say I want my theater play or I want my movie playing in theaters
not
and then the
see it.
one
Not show up
time
when it's in
Yeah.
theaters.
it's playing, it doesn't. It did get to play twice.
It did.
'Cause
It did. It
win
got the
somehow
buzz. The
buzz. Sure. So it shows
I
you
think
that a
sometimes
lot of people were there.
Yeah, it's true. I also do think that there is. I want to say that it goes to a
What?
bidding war.
No.
Like a little bit where it's like I can think of 2 movies that would have had
gets the
buzz
studio-
screenings before the buzz
agree.
screenings we got.
Hey, well, if the studio for Sing Sing was supporting them, I'm at least happy they
It's
got
not
the
even
money
Sing
there.
Sing. It's Roadhouse. Roadhouse getting the
Roadhouse for
buzz
sure.
over Fall Guy and Monkey
Yeah.
Man doesn't make sense to me.
And I think those may have been too big, but they are in the
think
same
so.
category, which makes
Yeah.
you wonder, like, why not? It's because Monkey Man was never going to. It
Monkey
didn't
Man,
matter.
yeah.
And you were, both of you know the buzz because you were in those lines.
Yeah.
Those were the buzziest ones.
They were.
Yes.
Roadhouse was good, don't get me wrong, but it's like,
Roadhouse was
I don't know if that would have been
was,
the one to claim that.
I got number 69 when I got there just before 4, and it started at
Oh, yeah, because you
6.
actually did the waiting
Yeah,
line.
Yeah.
There were fewer people lined up. You were the 69th for the
For
Express.
Roadhouse.
If you were
Yeah.
gauging how the big premieres were.
not
Yeah,
for
but
Express,
But even in
for
that, it being
primary,
a streaming
yeah.
movie and people showing up, I thought was impressive
Yeah.
because we went to some other streaming movies that we like.
We love.
And I felt like people were like, this is Netflix, I don't got to worry about it. This is about to come out,
people
I don't got to
know.
worry about it. And they still showed up for this one.
Yeah, some people don't know. It's like when the Netflix logo played before it's what's inside. A lot of people laughed, and
Jake
I'm like,
Gyllenhaal's was
yeah,
gonna
you're
be
gonna.
there
Yeah,
for
people
Roadhouse.
want to see Jake. People
Yeah.
want to see
Well-
Post.
Beyond Post, the one reason I'm really surprised they're not even attempting a theatrical, I feel like there's an audience there for Conor McGregor.
Yeah, there's absolutely.
The buzz in the room for Conor McGregor felt bigger than the buzz in the room for Jake Gyllenhaal.
I want to say Conor stole the buzz.
Yeah, I mean he made a spectacle of the Q&A. I think we could say,
yes.
Which is funny. He came on stage with a bunch of whiskey, and he was having fun with it. But this is notably his acting debut.
Yeah.
He kind of plays the big bad in this movie, the tough guy that.
But like the psycho one.
Yes.
He's got the introducing.
Yeah, he's not the big bad, but he's like the one who's like he's the wild card. He's the one who's been brought in.
He's the one who the bad guy calls when the bad guy doesn't do what the bad guy's
but he's
do.
not like when you're thinking of like not like the guy from Blackberry who comes in. It's all like little bunch of boys. He's like you bunch of fucking guys.
He is like
they play him as this like very like smiley guy.
Yeah,
you know, like
very
he's
psychotically smiley.
Did you take it as smiley? I took that as like every non-actor who I've seen or worked with doesn't know how to get that grin off their face because they mention it in the movie. You've been smiling at me the entire time I've been in here. That was Jake.
I think it's specifically they figured out a register that Conor McGregor can deliver lines.
Kind of like when they dialed in John Cena as the kind of goofy, awkward peacemaker
So he
character,
got a little bit
and they dialed him in on that.
As fun as McGregor is here, he's a lot more limited than John Cena. I don't see like a fruitful film career from this point. But he is magnetic in this role.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And at the Q&A, because just like in the movie where he goes in and kind of has this guy of Conor McGregor coming in to take back the Roadhouse, which he is protecting. He lost that Q&A to Conor McGregor. That man took over not just all of the interviewees, he took over the interviewer, who was Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard. I'm going to say, they introduced him, and I guess I heard a different name or something. I heard like Doc
She heard Jack Shepard.
Yeah, I didn't even
Lost.
hear Shepard. I just heard something. I thought it was some random Texan fan that was huge on Roadhouse. That's how much Conor McGregor stole the show that I was looking, like Conor was right next to Dax the entire time. And it wasn't until we were walking out that they were like talking about Dax Shepard separately. And I was like, where was Dax Shepard? He was like the
on
interviewer?
Stage the whole time.
He was the guy with the questions. He went, here you go. He is pretty tall.
And that made it more sense where he was willing to kind of like go to Conor and be like, the studio wants me to ask all these questions, I gotta ask these questions.
Yeah, you guys were the ones who had told me that Conor did have a drink. I saw Post Malone with a Bud Light, which to me is just water for that man.
No.
But yeah.
He walked out four fingers deep of whiskey in a cup, and I noticed because he tried to put it between his leg at one point to grab the microphone, and I was like, you got 2 hands, buddy. You got 2 hands.
Yeah.
And then eventually he had to run, but I think he just pounded it and then brought it backstage. So like he was gone.
The audience loved him though.
Oh yeah, and then he saved a woman at the end.
I think
Allegedly.
that was PR stuff. After he went crazy on stage, I too would be like, and he's gonna save somebody.
Yeah.
We did see the ambulance pull
We
up.
saw the ambulance.
Did they
pull
actually
up.
save somebody?
No, I don't think he did. Somebody passed
There's
out. He went to help. He was like making sure that they were okay. And I'm like, he stole everything. Jake went back to the hotel room, skipped the after party. He's just like punching mirrors and screaming. Sorry, Jake. It's a bad year for
I thought Jake was really good in the movie. I thought Jake was delightful. We went into it. I was supposed to be Team Fall Guy. He was supposed to be Team Roadhouse. None of us got into Fall Guy. I was surprised for Roadhouse. I did think it was pretty fun for what it was. He is very energetic.
Yeah.
He is. I think we've been comparing 2 different actors on who's got the better shirt takeoff moment.
Yeah, well, this movie does a really fun thing in that, like, you don't really get a good look at his face until the shot where he takes off his shirt. If they introduce him the way that you kind of need to,
and all the girls are like, woo!
Yeah, and it lives up to that moment.
It's true. I can hear them.
And the thing is, like, he really does carry himself in a way that it is intimidating, right? There's a moment where he gets punched and doesn't really react, and you believe it.
Yeah, you believe it.
Right? So I thought he was really good, and I think he elevated himself to the action moments in this film. There are a lot of like digital effects used to enhance the action scenes, and I don't know how you felt about them. I think they were kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
Because while like they are able to kind of execute certain moments a little bit more, I don't know, on camera than you would get to otherwise, it also just looks a little ugly and digital, and in a way that took me out of some moments.
I thought it was cool the first time, kind of when they do it in the cage match at the beginning, to kind of like establish things, but then I almost felt like a crutch after a while, that they didn't know how to flip the momentum or get things, and I think it's gonna disorient a lot of people, because you'll see like a fist and then suddenly it's like wrapping around so that you're in that person's perspective, and it's like doing just
a lot of that
things.
robot camera too.
Robot camera.
Like they're in
like a drone, but it's not.
Yeah, like they're in a green screen set, but it kind of feels like they're kind of in the bar setting, and I don't know, it's a little weird.
Yeah,
but
a little weird.
I don't know, maybe the TV's at home. that have the most what is it, the motion
smoothing?
God, no.
This is made for those TVs.
No.
They know the dads aren't changing them. I
That's
also
me. My
thought
dad
it was
goes to bed and I'm like,
yeah, you got to change all of it. Look, a lot of it was weird. It was very 50-50 for me, but the 50 that hit.
I
There's
agree.
a lot of weird stuff. Post Malone fighting, he looked
It
good
was
up there.
good.
He didn't look incredible. You
Nah.
could tell they were working on some of that stuff
yeah, but he's in it for like 30
after the fact, but he's in it for 30 seconds. But when Jake Gyllenhaal's doing some of the fights, he's got this one that's in the trailer and they spoil with the half slap.
Yeah, I love this.
And then to hit.
and then the whole like, is there a hospital? And you guys have health insurance.
It's the dialogue
It's
and the
dialogue
quirkiness
and just
in
the
it that sells it.
quirky
Yeah.
and the
way
light
he'll-
delivery.
The way he'll like undercut the moment by throwing out a like, who taught you shapes?
Yeah. So I thought the
Yeah.
flow of that was pretty well. I did think when you're talking about comedy that Jessica Williams being the one who brings him in when, you know, he's just this figure that's out there doing these fights, not even fighting really because he just has that legacy. This
He just has to show up.
Yeah, there's this flashback kind of thing that creeps in on an incident that happened when he was in his MMA career, which I feel is completely out there because he shot it at an actual MMA fight, which adds to the energy of those scenes. But when he gets this job from Jessica Williams, I feel she just disappears, and that's kind of
Yeah.
like a looming thing in the movie
I
where it felt like
wanted
the
her to
MacGuffin. Somebody needs this place. They barely tell you for what, and when they do, you don't really care.
I agree. I think if they wanted to do the love interest, she should have been the love interest too.
Because then there's another love interest, right?
Should have been combined because the love interest.
Sophia Boutella, who was that?
No, it was
she's
a
the-
Ratcatcher.
Yeah, Ratcatcher, and I love her. She's a fantastic actress.
I have no problem, and she looked great at the Q&A.
She did, but you know
But
what?
it was like
she
two
didn't need to be
characters
here.
split, yeah.
She didn't need to be
Daniela
here.
Melchior.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't need to be here, and she's great. Like, I'm glad you got the job, but
Yeah.
like, I just feel like there was two characters that should have been one character, and it
Yeah.
would have
And then
made
her
it more
character
engaging.
expands into other characters that I don't want to spoil either, and it gets
Right.
very convoluted
You
at
could have
the
done
end.
it with all one person.
Yeah.
There's no reason why it couldn't.
We
have
just
been
should have
that
seen them
guy.
get punched in the face.
They both feel like half characters, and I
Split into
agree.
two.
It kind of would have maybe made their presences feel a little more justified if you give them a little bit more each. So
Yeah, or just merge them.
yeah, it does feel abridged in certain ways, which is weird for a movie that wasn't short. But you know, I think most of it is like it's pretty breezy. It's pretty fun. Not the deepest movie by any means. Not the most like electric in terms of how it visualizes the action. I wouldn't put you know what they put on screen up there with like a John Wick kind of, or even against some of the other stuff we've seen at this festival. But I think it's satisfying. I think it's gonna be fun, and it's
Yeah.
a pretty easy movie to sit back and just like
Turn on,
turn off with kind of any audience.
Yeah, I agree. What else is? I'm totally blanking. What
Shout
else
out
has
my
Doug
boy,
Liman done?
my tocayo.
Doug Liman has done Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Right,
the
okay.
original Born Identity.
Yes, yeah.
Edge of
Asking for some-
Tomorrow with
asking
Tom
for
Cruise.
something- the last 10 years.
Yeah, and once you said that, it opened
Edge of
up
Tomorrow with
everybody
Tom
else.
Cruise. What are you talking about,
What
bro?
year was that?
Ooh, that's old now.
We're reaching it. I know.
2012.
2014.
Say your favorite.
2014.
See, that's
Chaos
10 years
Walking.
from
That's
now.
10 years.
My man doesn't have an easy time getting movies made, so he doesn't do them too
Or
often.
Yeah.
getting them in theaters.
I like Chaos Walking.
But I like this. I like this one.
We did do Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. He likes to save it for the
Dude.
I like my boy Arturo in it. He was really
Yes.
funny.
He was great.
Added a lot of
Arturo
levity
Castro.
to it.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
great.
Really stole every scene he was in.
Every scene he was in was really funny.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him up there. And Lukas Gage. I'm blanking on the other guy's name too because it was the other two kind of like buddies that he had as
Yeah. What
the
about the-
bodyguards.
Our comedy poster fell.
It was the guy. Yeah, he
Movie
did
not
not find
fun
my,
enough.
my thing funny for not knowing his name.
Yeah.
But I thought they were pretty good in it. There's been a lot of actors who have been mentioning the idea of this being the hardest film that I've shot. I actually believe it kind of for him because I
Little
don't think
bit.
he's done too much action. He's been doing a lot of. He's been in his drama bag, which is cool. Right?
He's done a lot of action. Not that kind of action, maybe.
Not that kind of action. I think he was
Mr.
actually getting
Mrs.
punched in the
Smith?
face.
Oh, sorry, you're talking
Gage. Yeah.
I thought you
Because a lot of
Doug.
act.
I
No,
thought you
no, no.
meant Doug.
Well, Doug too. You know, sometimes I don't know when he's.
Yeah, but Lukas Gage has not done a lot of action.
So
So
when
he
he's
did good.
when he said it was like
He's really
one of
nice,
the
too.
toughest, I thought that was
And I was really enjoying the film in those moments when it's kind of like Jake Gyllenhaal trying to like
teach them.
Yeah, be like,
yeah.
you need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You know?
When everyone in the town knows him, and he's like, "Why does everybody know
Y'all
me?"
have
Was
you guys
there
have
a
a
meeting?
meeting?
Yeah. Another character too. When you guys were saying splitting the love interest, he's also kind of got like the little girl
I don't
who's
like
guiding
her.
him. And it was just like, for what reason? I called her
like
Nice
it.
Spice
Yeah.
because she was just like running a bookshop with her dad.
Dad,
Again, it felt like the cliche
Yeah.
throwback to like the westerns where the little kid's gonna help.
But she's
the,
not that young, and that's my
boyfriend
issue.
stranger.
That needed to be a 6-year-old based on how she was acting, and I feel like that actress is like 16, 17. That's an adult almost.
Well, I don't know if you can get the like analysis of the Western genre from a 6-year-old. So they're kind of like combining precocious little kid ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, but the way she's saying it's all like I could totally see a little kid in a small town of like finding some old random Western book or like watching a John Wayne movie with their grandfather.
They could have simplified it more, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I just think you want to have a 16-year-old acting like they're 6. Like I don't know, I don't know. It was weird. She felt weird to me. I like that there was like an emotional hook that like, and I like what her purpose is for how it leads into the conclusion of the movie. I don't like her character.
And it's I think it gets back to the thing that I was trying to say earlier, that like, even though I don't want this to be like a mini series, there is an expansive nature to it in that they kind of make a lot of characters really abbreviated in a way that like you kind of want to maybe have a little more depth there. You want to dive deeper into those relationships for it to feel as
they're like video game characters.
Yeah.
And like just checking in with
like
them.
an open, like if you were in a Fallout game and you kind of stumbled upon a town that wasn't on the main objective.
Right.
So you just have these like kind of developed characters.
Yeah, and it's the hints of depth without the real presence of it. So I don't know. It still doesn't keep me from enjoying the film. I thought I had a really good time with it.
Same.
It was decent.
But I think, it's not gonna. I don't know if it's gonna have like a Roadhouse kind of legacy or anything like that.
No, I think it's exactly what it's trying to be, and I don't know, following up for the rights or whatever it needs to, honoring the spirit of Roadhouse, because that was a big thing in the studio questions for the Q&A. Yep. It's him mentioning, I was completely honored by Patrick Swayze. It's Patrick Swayze in this movie. It's Patrick Swayze in all the other movies. That's who I'm inspired by, and I think it may not be the movie to see in theaters, but if it did play in theaters, I think a lot of people would have gone for some matinees. Dads would have gone.
I agree.
Yeah, that would have been a good outing movie for the boys.
We'd
for
have
sure.
a good day. We'd have a good day,
For streaming, though, I think it's perfect because I would give it a rent it. If it wasn't streaming, I would have rented it to watch with my family because I think it's at least that good of a movie night for a group.
I personally went 3 stars on Letterboxd, but I'm a little
That's
harsh.
not bad.
So.
That's
not bad.
That's probably
That's
about
good.
where I'd
No, there's a
be.
lot of dumb stuff in there. So after you get all the dumb stuff, 3 stars is good. Like Conor McGregor is just Conor McGregor.
And he was fun.
You're
fun.
you're cheering because it's just him on stage going crazy, and it sounds like he was game for a lot of goofy bits. So there is that. But overall, not a bad way to start the fest.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.